welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be going over how to pedal at the piano. So most pianos do have 3 pedals, but today we are going to be talking about using the damper pedal, which in most cases is the one all the way on the right. So the damper pedal is going to hold out the sound of the notes you're playing even once you let up the key. So I'll give you an example here if you've never used the pedal before. If I am playing without the pedal, that's what it's going to sound like. It's not holding out the sound. As soon as my finger comes up from that key, the sound goes away. But if I hold down the pedal while I play that, even once my finger lets up that key, it's still going to hold out that sound. And this is really helpful for songs that just need to sound like very smooth and connected. The pedal is really helpful to get that sound in there because we can't always be actually holding those notes out with our hands. We have to play a bunch of different notes, but we still kind of want that sound held, and it can help us a lot with that. And believe it or not, there actually is a little bit to pedaling. It's not just holding it down the whole song, because if you do that, it's probably going to start sounding what I call really muddy. Everything blurs together a little bit too much and it doesn't sound very good. So I'm going to be going over how to pedal to actually make it sound really good and hold it out enough but not too much. So there are 3 main types of pedal markings that you're going to see most often, and I'm going to go ahead and show you those. So this is just a random song I've pulled out that has some pedal markings in it. Okay, so this right here is a typical pedal marking you'll see. This is telling you to put the pedal down here, hold it all the way till here, let it up. It might be for an entire song, or it could be for a measure or part of a measure. This is just telling you when to put it down and when to let it up. So here we can see that we're letting the pedal down here. We're gonna hold it, and we've got this little sort of bump in the line, and you can see it is multiple times throughout this whole line here. So what does that mean? So what that is telling us is we are going to continue to hold the pedal throughout the line, but we need to clear the sound throughout it. It's telling us to let the pedal up and put it back down to clear the sound so that everything is blending together really nicely and not sounding too muddy. Now you will encounter some songs I've seen, especially in a lot of hymns, this tends to be very common. You will see at the beginning of the song, it will say pedal throughout. And that means that you are going to use pedal throughout the song, but they're not writing in exactly where to put the pedal down and let it up. So you kind of have to use your own discretion to know when to let it up, when to clear that sound and put it back down. A rule that I find is good to follow is let your pedal up usually at least once every 1 to 2 measures. So if you've played through 2 measures and you haven't let the pedal up and you think the sound is still fine, it's probably a good idea to just clear that sound and put it back down. You also may find that there are some sections you just need to completely let the pedal up for maybe a measure or 2 and then put it back down for the next section. So now that we've kind of gone over when to let it up, when to put it down, we're going to talk about how to actually go about doing that. So this is something that may take a good amount of practice because it can be kind of a lot to think about in the beginning, but you will get used to it over time and literally you will not have to think about it anymore. When you want to clear the sound in the middle of a song, so you're maybe in between measures, you're in between notes, you want to clear the sound so you can go into your next note. Here is how you're going to do that. You don't want a break in the sound, because if you can hear every time you're letting the pedal up, you hear a break in the sound, it's going to be really obnoxious and it's not giving the effect you want with that pedal. So I'm going to quickly show you the difference between hearing that break in the sound, which is what we don't want, and properly pedaling so that you don't hear the break in that sound. So you might be able to notice a small difference there where we had a break in the sound the first time and that was eliminated the second time. So what I'm doing differently is the first time through, and this is what a lot of people will do when they are clearing the pedal, they're going to put the pedal down, play your first notes, And then they're going to let all their notes up with the pedal. So no sound is being held out. And then put the pedal down with the next notes they're playing. So what you want to do to eliminate that break in the sound is you're going to obviously hold your pedal for those first few notes. Okay, here's where I want to clear the sound for the next section because it's not going to blend really well with these notes. So I'm going to go ahead and play the next note and then hold that note there, and I'm going to let the pedal up, put it back down so that sound is still being held, and go on playing my notes. This will eliminate that break in sound, and here's what it sounds like once you speed it up again. So there's no break in the sound, but you're also clearing the notes so that they're not getting muddy. Hopefully you're starting to get the gist of what I'm trying to explain. So basically, whenever you want to clear the sound, play your note, let the pedal up, put the pedal down while you're holding that note, and then continue playing. Don't play your notes with the pedal, let the pedal and your notes up so there's no sound, and then put the pedal down with your next notes because obviously there's a break in the sound there. A quick tip I do have for you to make pedaling easier is always keep your heel on the floor when you're pedaling, and it's a lot easier than lifting your whole leg every time you pedal. Now, if you are too close to the piano and trying to do this, you may find that it's really difficult and uncomfortable, so you may have to scoot your bench back a little bit further to find that comfortable spot where it's easy to pedal and to keep your heel on the floor. But I hope you have found this video helpful. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to let me know. And let me know what videos you want to see, what techniques, what things at the piano you need help on or want to work on to get better at, and I will definitely try to do that. But I hope you all have enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you hopefully very soon.